Hi, everyone. My name is Robin Love. I'm a certified yoga therapist and the founder of the Yoga School, which is an online yoga school offering classes, workshops, and one-on-one yoga therapy. So I'm very honored to be here today with you to lead a practice. It's fall, so a time of transition. I live in the Northern Hemisphere and actually quite north, so the days are getting shorter and definitely cooler. And I thought it would be fun to do a practice to help ease this transition from the warmth of the summer into the cooler temperatures and time of the fall into winter. In yoga, there's a really useful idea. The Sanskrit is pratypakša bhāvana, and that is this idea of bringing in the opposite. So when we think about the fall, we can think of that time as a time of movement and a time of drying out. If you think of the leaves drying out, sometimes our skin starts to dry out as we're turning on the heat now again. And this idea that we can counteract those qualities that might bring us out of balance. It might show up in us as maybe some increased anxiety, or, I often think about that movement as like blowing on a fire. And so whatever's been in us might flare up. So it could show up in your skin, in your attitude, just noticing that. And then it's not that the beauty of it is this pratypakša bhāvana is we can bring in the opposite. So really that's what this practice is going to be, encouraging that we'll bring in some of the opposite qualities from those that are starting to come up now in the time of autumn, fall. So let's start seated and we'll move to standing and see how it goes from there. So I'm here in my, I use for yoga, but it's also my art studio. So I encourage you to use whatever space you have. It doesn't need to be perfect. So when you're ready, you're gonna need, it'd be helpful to have a yoga mat. I'm sitting on a cushion, or actually a bolster. And if you have a cushion or bolster, that's great. Otherwise, you can just fold up a blanket or a towel, something to support you underneath your hips. If you can sit crisscross or half lotus, something that you feel stable and connected to the ground. If sitting in this way isn't possible, you can also sit in a chair, and just making sure your feet, the soles of your feet, are both planted on the ground or on a pillow that's on the ground, so that you have that connection to the ground. So we want, and that's this time of movement and transition, we're going to find the stability that is available to us on the earth as we are part of the earth, and really bring in that connection, that stability of the earth, always there, meeting us underfoot. And in this instance, underneath us on our bottom as we sit. So sitting, finding your comfortable seat, you might close your eyes or shift the gaze downward. I'm just going to limit the amount of visual information coming in. Take a moment. If your eyes are closed, you could even imagine just bringing your awareness down a little deeper into your body. Just the act of doing that sort of invites a longer, slower breath. So as you start to come in more internal and step away from whatever you've just been doing, I do invite you to connect to your breath. If you can, breathe through your nose. Just noticing the quality of your breath. As we notice the quality of our breath, we don't need to change it or fix it. We are noticing it. So just like the winds of falls, the wind of our breath is moving in our body. And for this practice, the breath is central. So we are going to move. In fact, we're going to flow a bit like water at the same time being connected to the ground. But the main thing to attend to in the practice is your breath. If it starts to feel shortened or jagged, that's your invitation to take a break, slow down, take any position that feels comfortable for you. And you can always come back to this, sitting or laying on your back. If we're once we get standing, you could lay on your back and just connect to the breath. Feel it moving in your body. So here you are, seated like a mountain, feeling the connection to the ground, but still this breath moves in and out. So we can have both. We are both. We are both this steadiness, solidity, stability of the mountain, and this movement of the breath in and out. You might want to bring your fingertips just up here near your collarbone. Feel that inhale, lifting the chest. Exhaling then completely. Noticing the inhale, expanding, exhale, emptying out. This is our movement of the breath, and it can lead the other movements of our body. So at any point, also in your practice, if you get unsure of what to do, just think about this idea that the inhale is expanding, moving outward, and the exhale is a drawing into the center, coming forward. That is really the two main movements that we'll be using in our practice in a bunch of different ways, but that's something you can rely upon. Following the breath, following the movement of the breath. Inhale. You might also feel a lengthening of the spine lifting up. And as you exhale, let's soften our shoulders, soften our face and our jaw, settle down into the ground. And I invite you to lengthen your breath. So with each inhale, maybe a little bit longer, a little fuller, and every exhale, growing just a little longer, always wanting to empty out. So that the inhale and the exhale are about the same length. You can always have the exhale a little longer than the inhale. Find a pattern of breath that's long, slow, and steady, that's working for you. You want it to be a sustainable breath. Once your breath settles, you can let your hands rest in your lap with the palms up. And I invite you to call to mind a pond or a lake, imagining that you're standing safely on the shore, looking out across this pond or lake. It's a still day. So for this visualization, just whatever comes to mind is correct. You don't need to manage it. So if several ideas come to mind, you can pick the first one and let go of the others. If nothing comes to mind, it's just a lake or a pond. You could even just use the words or a feeling. But as you stand looking out across this lake or pond, which is very still, just knowing that the water is just the right temperature. It's just the right temperature. Just take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll let go of that image or word or feeling of the lake or the pond. Then you're going to come to stand. So please come to stand on your mat if you have one. We're going to stand up near the front of the mat. I'll do that in a moment, but for now, I'm just going to talk you through it. So standing at the top of your mat, you want to have your feet hip width apart. And just as we did, as we sat down, we're going to take a minute, connect to the ground. So again, if it's helpful, you close your eyes or shift the gaze downward. Find again how breath is moving in your body. So as you inhale, we want that spine to be nice and long and tall, crown of the head up towards the ceiling, maybe a little tuck in the chin. As you exhale, you might even feel the lower abdomen drawing in on the exhale as you empty out. Returning again to this long, slow, steady breath that you just created that pattern while you were sitting. As that breath pattern gets established again in your body, next time you exhale, really feel your feet on the mat. Notice how you're standing. How are you connected to the ground? And just for this one moment in the practice, maybe you shift a little. Maybe you notice you're leaning a little forward into your balls of your feet. Maybe you shift back and send some weight into the heels so your feet are more evenly connected to the ground. Maybe you actually lean a little to one side. You depend a little. I know sometimes I tend to be very right-handed, so my right side gets favored. So sometimes I have to remember to bring it back to the left. Let my left side have some of the fun. So take a moment just noticing how you were standing, and then for this next 30 seconds, you're going to bring your feet more evenly onto the ground and really let your whole body be supported through the soles of your feet in a kind of even, equal way. And that working with the breath, nice and tall and long. Exhale, settle down, feel that connection, soften your face, soften the jaw, let the shoulders move away from the ears. Belly is soft as you exhale. So in yoga, we're always playing with this idea of stability and ease, correct effort and relaxation. They work together, just like our inhale and our exhale. Excuse me. So standing at the top of your mat, we're going to connect our movement to this movement of the breath within us. And we're just going to start with our arms. So letting your arms hang down alongside your body. Staying connected to your long, sustainable breath. Next time you inhale, let's bring our arms, we're going to bring them up from the front on the inhale. So with your arms alongside the body, next time you inhale, let's inhale and lift the arms up When they reach shoulder height, we're going to bend our elbows and begin to open wide. Exhale, send them back down. So for the first one, I didn't lift my arms up at all close to what is available. I just did about 50%. Let's try that again. Inhale, send the arms up. The elbows start to bend as the fingertips start to move up to the ceiling. Exhale, lower down. Moving at the speed of your breath. So inhale, that expansion across the collarbones invites an expansion of the arms. And exhale, emptying out, lowering down. Arms back alongside. Maybe you even start the inhale first and then start to lift the arms up. You can go a little higher now. And then exhale, belly draws in. Keep going this way. Inhaling, moving the arms up, keeping the elbows bent. You can start to feel that expansion across the collarbones, and then exhale, lowering down. Let's do 2 more like that. Really connecting to the breath, that long, slow, steady breath, moving at the speed of your breath. So noticing if you want to rush it and get it over with. That's just something to notice. But for this practice, we're going to do our best to stay connected to the breath. So now I'm going to join you on the mat. So standing at the top of the mat. Inhaling, bringing the arms up, just as we've been doing, inhaling. Exhaling, lower down. We're going to add in a forward fold on the exhale. So I'm going to soften my knees. Inhale. Coming up. Exhale, draw the belly in, folding over my legs. Inhale, reaching out and up, coming back up. Let's do 2 more like that. Exhale. Folding forward. Inhale, sweeping up. Pressing through the feet, trying not to lose the connection to the ground as we're moving. See if you can bring some length into the spine as you rise up. And staying up this time, exhale, just the hands will come down. You're moving at the speed of your breath. So if it doesn't match mine, adjust as needed. We're going to bring in some more movement. We're going to do a gentle sun salutation. So inhaling, we'll send the arms up. Exhaling, folding forward. This time I'm bending my knees all the way so that my hands touch the ground. Inhale here. I'm going to bring a little more length into my spine, but I'm going to keep my chin tucked. And then exhale, both hands come down onto the mat, and I'm going to send my right foot back. Inhale here, look up. Exhale, the other foot goes back. We're going to come into downward facing dog. But we're going to keep our heels off the mat, bend our knees, and really find the length in the spine here. So I'm pushing my hands, and my fingers are open as wide as they can be. And instead of thinking about opening the backs of my legs, right now I'm thinking about how can I make my spine as long as possible. Pushing the hips away from hands. Keeping the breath steady, 1 more breath. And then inhale, I'm going to send the right foot back up. You can take as many steps, you can use your hands to help that foot come back. And look up. Then exhale, I'm going to step the left foot forward and fold over my legs, keeping the knees soft. Inhale, come part way up, long spine, and then exhale, fold 1 more time. Inhale, reaching out, find that length in the spine as you press all the way up. And exhale, we're going to float the arms back down. Let's do one more like that on using the left foot going back. Inhaling, the arms come up. Exhaling, draw the belly in. Floating down over the legs on the exhale, keeping the knees soft. Inhaling, part way up, long spine. And exhale, hands all the way down, bending the knees as much as you need. Send the left foot back. Inhale here. Feel that expansion across the collarbones, and then exhale, downward facing dog. You might want to pedal the legs a little, but keep the heels off of the mat, and we're going to bend our knees so we can really find that length in the spine. Again, hands are broad on the mat. Connecting again to that long, slow, steady breath. We'll take one more breath like this. When you are ready, next inhale, we're going to send the left foot back up. Take as many steps as you need. Looking up, exhale, other foot follows. Keeping the knees soft, fold over the legs. Inhale, come part way up. Find that length in the spine. Exhale, fold one more time. Inhale, reach up and pressing through the feet, come all the way up. Exhale, float the arms back down. I'm going to add on just a little bit more. We'll do a couple more of these before we switch up our position to the ground. So on the inhale, we'll come on, lift the arms. Exhale, draw the belly in, keep the backs of the legs soft as you fold forward. Maybe the fingertips touch the ground. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, hands come all the way down onto the mat. We're going to send the right foot back. Keep the left foot forward, look up. Exhale. Left foot moves back. Take a breath here. Find this long spine. Inhale, we're going to drop the knees. Let the head look up. Bringing the tops of the feet onto the mat as you exhale. Drop the head, soften the elbows, send the hips back. You don't have to bring them all the way to the heels. Inhale, come back up. All fours, really feel the expansion across the collarbones. We're keeping our elbows soft. Look. As you look up, you're still slightly tucked in the chin. So it's really about making the back of the neck long. Exhale, drop the head, soften the elbows, go back. You might go a little further this time. One more time like this. Inhale. Exhale. It's really that exhale leading the hips back. We'll stay here, take a breath. Maybe the elbows and the forehead land on the mat. Next inhale, coming back up, all fours, look up. Exhale, we're going to engage our toes, press back to down dog. Inhale, send the right foot forward, let the head look up. Exhale, left foot follows, you're folding over your legs, keeping the knees soft. Inhale, come part way up. Exhale, fold one more time. Inhale, reaching up, all the way up. Exhale, floating the hands down. Now we'll do the same thing on the left side as you're ready. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, folding forward. Inhaling, part way up. long spine. Exhale, hands all the way down onto the mat, bend your knees. Left foot goes back, right foot stays forward. As you inhale here, feel the expansion under the collarbones, and then exhale, find the down dog. Keeping the heels off the mat, knees bent, long spine. Take some breaths here. Next inhale, let's inhale, drop the knees onto the mat, look up. Exhale, top of the feet come onto the mat as you draw the belly in and send the hips back. First one, maybe just go part way. Inhale, soften the elbows. Chin is tucked. It's really, when I say look up, I mean expand across the collarbones. Exhale, drop the head, send the hips back. One more, inhale. Breath leads the movement. Exhale, drawing the belly in, sending the hips back. We'll stay here. Just for one breath or two, inhale, come back up. Exhale, engage your feet, down dog. Inhale, send the left foot forward, look up. Exhale, right foot follows, fold over your legs. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, float the hands down. Let's just take a moment here. And we will again bring our hands or fingertips up to the collarbone. If you're comfortable, you can let your whole hand rest here. If you prefer, just letting the fingertips rest. Connecting again to your breath, which may have shortened. You might even feel your heart beating underneath. So bringing yourself back to that lake or that pond, and you're standing by the shore safely. Although it's a still day, you can feel and see that little bit of waves at the shoreline. Just that little coming in and out gently at the shoreline. Sound. The look of it. And knowing that that water is just the perfect temperature. We'll let our hands come down alongside our body and let go of that image of the lake or pond. And again, we're going to feel the connection to the ground through the soles of our feet. Inhaling, find that long spine. Exhaling, softening the face, maybe rolling the shoulders back and down. Softening the knees, really letting yourself come down into the ground. We'll do one more standing posture. So let's open our stance a little bit. Doesn't have to be wildly huge, but it's wider than hip width. So when we shift the position of our feet, it can really change our experience of that connection to the ground. So let's just take a minute or a few seconds to reconnect. You know, what changes for you just with something as simple as that? You know, again, do you shift forward? Do you shift back? Does one leg hold you a little more than the other? So notice that. I'm going to say we're going to aim to keep our feet about parallel, a little bit pigeon-toed, also fine. I'm just going to say we'll avoid, if you can, that turning out of the toes, which, you know, is doing something quite different than with our knees. So finding the connection to the ground, we're actually going to soften our knees ever so slightly. So not a big knee bend, but we're just going to put that little whisper of a bend in the backs of our knees so we're not locked in there in the joint. As we inhale, we'll send the arms up and out. Exhale, lowering down, just the arms. So finding again that long, slow, steady breath. We're going to come forward now, do a forward fold with this new leg position, inhaling. Arms come up. Exhale, as you draw the belly in, you're going to fold forward. Really doesn't matter how far. See if you can really bring some length into the spine, tuck the chin. Inhale, send the arms out. Feel the long spine as you come up. You can open wide at the top. Exhale, forward folding. Really think about opening the whole of your back, whole of your spine as you fold forward. So it's not about touching the floor. It's really about how can you open out the whole back body as you come down, and then use that length to come up with a strong back. It's a little bit harder with our feet wide. I always think about like scooping up, really taking advantage of that long back as you come up. One more. And exhale, we'll stay up and just the arms come down. We'll heel toe it back to the center. And let's make our way onto our mat on our back. So laying on your back on the mat. We're going to rest for a minute. So if you want something underneath your head or the backs of your knees, if you have a bolster or blanket. If you're putting something under your head, I have a folded up blanket, maybe just a little bit. Think about trying to keep your head in a neutral position. So if you're someone whose chin is pointed up to the ceiling, you might have something just so that it's more that your nose is pointing to the ceiling. Your legs could be out straight if that feels good for you, or if it's more kind to your low back, you could keep your knees bent. Once you're here, eyes closed, no conscious control of the breath, just letting your body take a rest, mind rest. You don't have to do anything. Bring your mind back. Come back into your body if you've drifted away. We're going to start to lengthen the breath again in a more conscious way, like we've been doing. If it's helpful for you, you might even let your hands rest somewhere on your abdomen. In that way of connecting the movement of the breath and the body just helps us sometimes to feel it, to be connected to it, really strengthens that connection. If you haven't already, bend your knees so the soles of the feet are on the mat. I have this blanket, but I'm going to move it and just tuck my chin a little bit to remind myself that I want my nose pointing more towards the ceiling, not so much my chin. I'm going to let my shoulder blades roll down the back towards my hips so that my shoulders move towards the mat. Again, feeling the connection through the soles of my feet, but now also through my hips, through my back, through the back of my head, back of my arms. I'm connected to the ground. Really just feeling the solidity and the stability of that. Establishing that long, slow, steady breath, where inhale equals exhale. I'm going to catch my left hand in my, excuse me, my left knee in my left palm of my left hand. My foot is relaxed. And I'll let my right hand just rest on the mat alongside my body. On the inhale, I'm going to flex my foot and send the foot up towards the ceiling. And I'm going to open out with my left arm, keeping my knee bent as much as I need to so that my foot is parallel to the ceiling. And then as I exhale, I'm going to bend the knee again, catch it in the palm, and just draw it in towards my chest. I'm not pulling, it's not a tugging, it's just sort of landing here as that exhale creates a little space. If you need to bring it wider to create space, that's fine. Inhale, keeping the knee bent, the arm comes out, elbow, fingertips on the mat, foot is flexed. Exhale, relax your foot. Inhaling, moving at the speed of breath, and exhale. Arm can be as wide as it needs so that you get the elbow and the fingertips to touch onto the ground. See if you can coordinate the arm and the leg. We'll do one more on this side. Once you're done, there's no rush, but once you're done with your breath, just letting the foot return to the mat, and we'll switch up the side. So now my left hand sits alongside my body, left foot on the mat, right foot comes off the mat, catching in the knee and the palm of my right hand. Same thing. Inhale, flex the foot, the arm goes out to the side, so the elbow fingertips land on the mat as the sole of the foot comes parallel to the ceiling. Exhale. It all comes back into the center. Modifying for what feels correct in your body. It could be that it comes a little wider than the hip. It could also be that you just don't come in quite so far. The main thing is that slow, steady breath. Finishing this one, let's do 2 more on the side. We'll let that foot also come onto the mat. And while we're here, let's let our hands move away from the body a little bit, and we're going to have our palms out. We're going to do something that's called palming with our breath. So you want your legs, hips, feet to be comfortable. You could put a bolster under the backs of the knees or just keep yourself here. As you inhale, stay here. Take a nice inhale, eyes can be closed. And as you exhale, you're going to exhale and bring this outer edge of your palm to cover the bony edge around your eyes. So you're just going to exhale. Inhale, send the arms out. Exhale, palming over the eyes. So there's no pressure on the eyeballs at all. It's really that there's this beautiful relationship between the outside edge of your palm and the bony edge of the eye socket, and you can cover and create this little beautiful pocket of darkness and without adding any pressure to your eyes. So keep going like that. If you would like, you could stay there, take a breath there. You could even open your eyes into the darkness while you take that breath, and then inhale, open wide. Keep going like that. Excuse me. Last one. Excuse me. Last one. So either one or two, one breath and stay for a breath, or do 2 more dynamically, your choice. When you're done, there's no rush, but as you finish, and inhale, the arms will come out, and exhale, we'll bring the hands alongside the body. Take your time, your own speed, but then we're going to roll to one side and come up to sit. Use your hands to help you. We will come up to sit in a comfortable position. I'm going to take my blanket that was under my head and put it under my hips. So you're going to find, again, a comfortable seat, just as we started. So crisscross legs are fine. If half lotus is available, you might do half lotus. Full lotus is your jam. Go for it. Main thing is we want to be comfortable and feel that connection to the ground. So if you're putting yourself in a painful position, that's defeating the purpose. So I'm going to just shift a little forward so I can feel that connection to the ground. Just take a moment. We've changed again our orientation to the ground. So we're going to again reconnect to that sense that we are connected to the ground. So if it's helpful, shift the gaze downward or shut your eyes. Inhaling, feel that nice long spine, lifting up, that lightness. Exhale, settle down, feel the connection through the knees, through your bottom. Inhale, expand, exhale, soften. So we're going to work with our breath in something that's called nyasa. Nyasa means placement. So we're going to work with our breath and with this visualization we've been doing of our water, our pond. That's just the right temperature. I'm going to work a little more actively with that. In a way, using our hands as a placement. We'll be placing our hands in coordination with the breath and with this image of the pond and the water. So as you settle into your seat, connecting to that long, slow, steady breath, again, imagining now you're seated. You're seated at the edge of the pond, seated safely at the edge of the pond or the lake. And that water is gently lapping at the shore. And that water is just the right temperature, the perfect temperature. As you inhale, I invite you to really do this. Maybe it's going to feel a little strange at first, but try to be game. I invite you to really inhale, imagine, and use your hands as if you're scooping the water up. So you're going to reach out and scoop on the inhale, and as you exhale, you're going to bring that water into your chest. So inhale, you reach out, you might lean forward and scoop as you exhale, and you're bringing that water that's just the right temperature into the chest. Keep going like that. Inhale, reach out and scoop. Exhale, it comes into the chest. Inhale, reaching out, scoop. Exhale, bring it in. One more like this. This water is just the right temperature. Now we're going to bring it in and palm our eyes. So inhale, reach out, scooping up this water, bring it into the eyes. Same thing, keep going. This water that is just the right temperature. One more here. Same thing, inhale, reaching out, scooping up this water that is just the right temperature. And then for this one, we're going to imagine that it just flows over us, washing over us and down and out. Inhale, scoop up the water that is just the right temperature, and exhale, let it flow down, wash over you and out. You can run your hands on your body. I've actually been keeping mine a little away from my body and just imagining this water, just the right temperature, running over us, washing down and out. Let's do two more like that. When you're done, no rush, but as you finish up, you can do it more if it feels good. But as you finish up, let's just let our hands rest on our knees with the palms up. Eyes can stay closed, and we'll just stay with the feeling. Stay with the feeling. If your mind wants to drift away, just return to that lake, that water that's just the right temperature. And return to the feeling. You can stay here, or as you are ready to finish, you might want to blink, open your eyes. Begin to take in your surroundings. And with the eyes open, very gently with your breath, we'll come back onto all fours, and just with the eyes open, do a couple more of the inhale, look up, exhale, send the hips back. Eyes are open this time, just very gentle with the breath. Going back a little bit, reconnecting to your more ordinary way of being in the world. Once you've done 3 or 4 like that, and that will be the end of our practice. So thank you so much for practicing with me today. You can use any of those pieces, the palming, bringing the water in at any point this fall if you start to feel that kind of cold or dry feeling, as a way of engaging with pratypakša bhāvana, or bringing in the opposite. So thank you.